is Puritans Radio.
Now, Peter Jones on Puritans Radio. Your station, your team, your community.
Yes, good morning. This is Peter Jones broadcasting to you from wherever the lady just said. I've forgotten already. And now we're doing something totally different again on the show. I'm going to take a back seat on my own show, and I'm going to hand over to my co-presenter, Deborah Simmons, who threatened that she was coming into the studio with an Antiguan suntan, but I can't see any difference. Oops, no, she'd taken the top off. Deborah's brought a guest in with her, and I'll let her do the introductions. But whilst we swap chairs, I'm going to play a bit of music which, appropriately enough, is called Antigua.
A-N-T-I-G-U-A. No matter what they say, down Antigua way.
Good morning, everybody. This is Deborah Simmons, and I've cut the music a little short because it's just going to make me miss the fact that I'm, not in Antigua anymore, and I'm going to have to get my own drinks, and I don't have any bendy straws, and there's no beach here. I'm not getting any sympathy, but I'm excited to be back today because you can't spend your whole life on a beach, and my very, very good friend and co-blogger Patrick Loomer has agreed to come and talk to me. Not that we don't talk all the time, but specifically for your entertainment.
Good morning.
Good morning, Patrick. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much to Peter for letting me invade this side of the table. I'm very rarely on this side of the table. There are many buttons, and I'm sure there should be a big red one that says "Do not press," like there is in the movies. But that's not here. So I might press just about anything. Patrick and I have been blogging on fabulousfoodie.com for 10 and a half years.
Yes.
And we're both eternally young. This is the... But last year, it suddenly occurred to me in the middle of the summer that it had been 10 years. And I went back and I realized we talk a lot. We always talked a lot about food. But
absolutely,
we suddenly got sort of more organized about it. And I went back, and the very first post on Fabulous Foodie was one of your tomato salad recipes. You went through a phase of salads for picnics and stuff.
Yeah. I'm opinionated on that.
Yeah. But we've covered a lot of stuff, and I had this fear that Peter said, you can have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but that if we didn't have a structure, because it's you and I, we would end up sort of going off on all tangents. So I've created a structure. We have the Fabulous Foodie Questionnaire. And, Peter, you may have an opinion on some of this. Feel free to chime in if you like.
Oh, being a guest on my own show.
Would you like to be a guest? These are sort of general questions, which are broad enough that it can let pretty much go anywhere. So there's 10 of them. And if it works out well, we may subject other people to the questionnaire. All right, so you ready?
Absolutely.
Question number 1. What's always in your fridge?
Spring onions.
That's a strange choice. It's a strange choice.
Well, aside from the obvious of milk and that sort of thing, but a spring onion, they're mild enough for a salad, and they're great for fantastic in scrambled eggs. And you can, as a last-minute substitute for any form of onion or any allium experience, the spring onion is a marvelous, marvelous thing, and they last quite well. All you have to
That's true.
As they age slightly, you just have to take that outer layer off.
Yeah.
And speaking as someone who's been frequently poor, that can last you quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the spring onion.
All right. I'm trying to think.
Also,
there's nothing nearly as healthy as always in my fridge. We got like caramel chocolate is always in my fridge, which is going to have to stop though.
I've also always got an aged half lemon in my fridge.
Yeah. I've got a couple of old lemons.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And it's not a slam at any of my relatives. They're just lemons. Okay. Number 2. What's your go-to comfort food?
Well, there's about 83.
All food is comfort food.
all food is potentially comfort food. There's so many different kinds of comfort food. There's the comfort food that is eating peanut butter straight from the jar in bed, which is like a nightly basis for me.
I'll let you have the peanut
But there's
butter.
also the comfort, there's mashed potato with lots and lots of butter. There's the comfort food that's also, it's comforting to make the food. So I find it very comforting to make a big batch of spag bowl. And it's just a lovely thing to have that simmering away on the stove while I'm pottering around in the kitchen and knowing that I've got
knowing it's there.
meals,
Yeah.
ahead of me.
So you make massive thing of spag bowl.
Absolutely. And then I freeze it in little individual serving containers, and I know that I've got lots of food, and that's very
There's a comfort to having a full larder.
Yeah, and also the process. I mean, risotto, making a risotto, that's a doubly comforting thing, because risotto is very comforting.
I consider making a risotto to be sort of meditation.
Yeah, well,
with food at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very mindful thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's always good for you. So that serene stirring.
When I saw the question, what's your go-to comfort food? I said, well, it depends on what I need comfort for. Is it cold out? Have I had a crappy day? Have I just watched, Kramer versus Kramer? What kind of,
Yeah, I mean, a bowl of popcorn can be comfort food as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a bowl of nacho cheese Doritos.
Wow, you and I do not have the same comfort foods. This peanut butter thing, which, I can't abide the stuff. Whether it's
a superfood. It's one of the few actually true superfoods.
peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Well, I'd rather have peanut butter than kale.
Well, no, but when the UN provides emergency meals in a famine situation or a disaster situation,
They send peanut butter?
it's a peanut butter base because it's incredibly high in nutrients and incredibly high in protein and very high in fat, and those are all the very things that you need in a famine situation. Or in an emergency
Unless you, of course, you have a peanut allergy.
Well, yeah.
But they don't know that.
But yes.
I guess the choice is,
Yeah.
Okay. What do you consider your signature dish?
I don't know that I have one. I mean, I have one for me, but it's not a signature dish when you're writing to yourself. I mean, that's...
Well, I guess its signature sort of implies that you're showing it off.
There's a chicken paprika, I would say. I have, and it's based on the old Joy of Cooking recipe, the original 1950s edition, and it's a sort of chicken.
I was going to say, not the ridiculous 80s edition.
No. It's chicken, very simple chicken that's poached in sort of stock, and you sweated off some onions and paprika beforehand and stuff like that, and you add a goodly amount of sour cream at the finish. It's one of those mid-century American adaptations of what is actually an authentically Eastern European dish.
Is that something you make when people are coming over?
It's what I make when people come over because people ask for it. So when people people say, "Ooh, I'm coming over for dinner," or I invite them over for dinner, they're like, "Ooh, will you make this?"
Oh.
Or if I visit members of my family, they will go, "Can you make the chicken paprika?"
Oh, okay. I think
so I
that's
guess
defined
that's
as a signature. If people associate you with it.
Yes.
People don't associate me with any particular dish. They associate me with what is Neil cooking.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
so Neil is your signature dish.
Neil is my signature dish. Oh, I'm going to call him that from now on. What is, moving from signature dish, which you make all the time, so presumably you're an expert, what is the one thing you can never get the hang of cooking?
Well, the one it took me... Something I can never get the hang of cooking. I'm extremely erratic when it comes to omelets.
The structure of them?
Getting them to flip. I can never get it to flip, and I can never get it to...
It is one of the few things that I do the cooking for at home. Because Neil has trouble with the flip.
With the flip, yeah, I can't do the flip. But then I make scrambled eggs the American way, which is to say the broken omelet way.
Yes.
In a frying pan rather than a saucepan.
Yeah. I'd never heard of the saucepan method till I came here.
English scrambled eggs are much softer and wetter than American scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
I haven't learned to get in a soft, wet English scrambled egg in a frying pan. I just refuse to clean out a saucepan after doing it in the English method because it's inevitable. It takes days. It takes days. I think this is the secret reason why they rationed eggs during the war. It's just because it took so
it takes too long to clean the saucepan out. Omelets, you can't get it to be tidy.
No, exactly. But that's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
It took me a very, very long time to learn how to cook rice, which may seem very basic, but rice is oddly complicated, and I can never get my proportions right. I always make far too much or far too little.
I didn't struggle with rice. You have mentioned this struggle with white rice before, and other people have it. I don't know whether it's because I grew up with really consistently produced, like Uncle Ben's or something in the States, but the instructions on the back produced perfect rice every time. I don't know. Maybe it was one of those things, but we didn't wash it and stuff like that. But I understand that some people you had mentioned yourself that the secret had become wash it until it was clear. Wash it till it's clear,
because
and then
what that does because no two bags of rice are the same. It can even be from the same rice producer, but they'll have, if you're dealing with white rice.
But that season the rice was starchier.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what the washing does is it levels it out for you.
All right. So omelets and rice. These are humps in the road.
There are things that I haven't tried yet that I may never master, but
Where do you get your ideas for cooking at home?
Oh, all sorts of places. I'm a complete magpie. It can be from a novel I'm reading. It can be from cookery shows on TV. I can easily influenced by those, as well as being easily annoyed by them.
Do you watch a lot of I watch a lot of food TV.
I watch a lot of food TV. I like shows like MasterChef and MasterChef The Professionals because you really see the trends that are going on, and you learn what you're going to be annoyed by over the following year.
I get annoyed by those programs because there's a lot of faffing. I mean, they're cooking on a different level and they're cooking for a different reason. I can get annoyed by the faffing, but then, I can get equally annoyed by faffing if I'm, watching Hairy Bikers. If they start to faff.
But as I said, I can be reading a novel set in a certain time period, and that'll get me interested in the time period, the food of that time period, and then seeing what I can cook from that. I'm currently, I'm a little bit obsessed with Middle Eastern food, like
the Ottolenghi kind of thing.
That and points east, so into what some people would call Persian or Iranian food. But that very east of the Mediterranean, straight on across. Because the flavors are extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. And because now that I've learned how to cook rice, I get to cook a lot of rice.
Oh my God, I've broken the rice barrier.
I've broken my rice barrier.
Excellent.
And so then you learn how to sort of do pilafs and things like that, and just the textures you can bring to it and the flavors and stuff.
Okay, that was the first 5 of the questions. I'm going to take a little break from the questions because, and you're mentioning the Persians and points east reminded me. You have lived in more places than I have seen on a map. Having grown up, following your parents around. So you probably ate more different cuisines as a young child than most people.
Yes and no. I mean, I grew up in the American Foreign Service and lived in 8 different countries when I was growing up. This was kind of at a time where you had to have fairly adventurous parents. You have to have fairly adventurous parents to have parents in the Foreign Service.
Yes.
But there was very much a culture of staying within the compound, of buying only from the American PX, or the commissary is what they call it, where you could buy American products and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Crisco will always be available no matter where you are.
Crisco can be a challenge to find outside the United States. It is available in certain adult emporia in London, I have to say.
Who are not using it for cooking.
No. Yeah, exactly, where it has a very, very different purpose.
No, but I mean, that would be the kind of thing they would have at the commissary, the stuff that wouldn't be
Exactly.
available, at the food market
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But I did, my parents, certainly my mother was quite an adventurous, so that we did a certain amount of eating within the resident culture and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I thought of you when I was in Antigua, because one of the fruits that's always around is the mango.
Oh, the mango.
And because you had lived in South America as a child, you learned salting the mango, to salt the mango.
Yes, I was taught to salt
and
the
you
mango.
were the first person that ever said that to me. And I was like, why would you salt a mango?
Because you have to.
Right. Well, having heard you say it many years ago, I tried it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I see this. We were in Antigua, and I ordered a fruit plate at some point, and they brought it to me, and so the slices of mango, and I asked for the salt, and I got this beaming smile from the waiter. I mean, they were smiling anyway. They're very happy. This was the happiest staff in the happiest place in the world. But suddenly it was like, you get it. You understand the salting of the mango. And I thought, thank you to Patrick. Thank you to Patrick.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and interestingly, this is in Costa Rica that I learned this. The mango is also eaten not fully ripe.
Yeah, partially not ripened.
Yeah, it's just on that cusp, so it's got a real tang to it. There's
I mean, it's distinctly mango, but it's still a bit, not sour.
It's
but
not quite sour, although
No.
my personal taste for them is to really be
Yeah.
quite green, quite like they do in Thailand and Southeast Asia, where it's in salads and it's treated as something intensely savory.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to get that little mango Antigua thing, so proud of myself.
Well, congratulations. Good
Thank
for
you. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the questions. Number 6. Describe a kitchen disaster.
There have been a fair few. There was one Christmas I cooked goose, and I did it. That was not in and of itself a disaster. That entire was a terrific success. I did it all absolutely right. I stabbed it all over with a fork the night before and poured boiling water over it and then blew dry the goose. And
Did you really?
yeah. This is all that you have to do. The stuff that you have to go through to get your perfect skin. And then I was, taking it out every 15 minutes as it roasted, as I allowed it, because it does exude a lot of fat. I still have, a fair amount of goose fat. What I had neglected to pay attention to was the fact that it splatters as you're sort of taking the tray in and out of the oven and stuff like that, which was fine, until New Year's Eve, when again I had people over for dinner and I was roasting a chicken in there. And
all the goose fat was still...
Yeah, I nearly asphyxiated the entirety of East London. Fortunately, it never burst into actual flame. It never burst into
no
actual
points
flame.
then.
Yeah.
No flame, no points.
And then there was the incident when, again, this was a big meal, I was making Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And for a country that has really embraced the turkey, and a few countries have embraced the turkey, like Britain has embraced the turkey. More British people have turkey for Christmas than Americans.
Yeah.
Americans don't have turkey for Christmas.
I always had Chinese food, but that's me.
Yeah, but Americans had just had turkey for Thanksgiving, so the thought of having it for Christmas is frankly depressing.
Well, you've just used up the turkey Thanksgiving
But
leftovers.
it's very difficult to get a hold of a fresh turkey before Christmas in Britain. And so I had to make do with a frozen turkey.
All right.
Which I will never do again, because this turkey gave off so much water. I mean, it was basically in a bath.
Yeah.
And that was a terrifying thing, because you wonder about the meat.
So your kitchen disasters have centered around poultry.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is true.
All right. This explains why you're such a big fan of grilling a steak.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. I know the answer to this question.
Okay.
Because you and I talk about this all the time. Do you cook ahead?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Will you batch cook as well?
Yes, I'm a big believer. I was talking earlier about, I find it very comforting to, spend the afternoon making the spaghetti sauce, but then knowing that it's all there. I've always got something that I have made ready for me to have for dinner that I can just reheat.
Yeah, I'd like to say there's something in our freezer tonight, but we've been gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
You're allowed this time.
Neil, if you're listening, you need to think about what you're going to make for dinner, because there's nothing in the freezer.
No spring onions.
We do have some old lemons, though. I am never without lemons in the refrigerator, not only for cooking purposes, but because I use them to clean everything. Okay. What is the most versatile ingredient?
Well, the egg.
The incredible edible egg.
The incredible edible egg, as they say in the States. Yeah, I mean, it goes sweet, it goes savory. You have a carbonara instantly with an egg. It's a meal in and of itself. It adds. I had this terrible bout of gastroenteritis as a child, and I lost tremendous amounts of weight. And my mother insisted that I had. I mean, it was kind of the forerunner of the protein shake. There's a raw egg in every.
How old were you when you were being made to eat this raw egg?
Well, it wasn't by itself. But
all right.
She would make me a milkshake, but put an egg in it.
Put an egg in it. Okay.
Yeah. So it was very much, which is kind of that protein kind of thing.
I can picture your mother doing that. She's probably the only woman who could convince me to have a raw egg.
Yeah. And then add to that the lemons. Lemons are. Yeah. They add, and you know what? You add the lemon and the egg together, you've got algo lemon, which is the great Greek sauce. Yes. So.
Absolutely. What food would you rather buy than make?
Oh, so many. The pinnacle of this, I can tell you from bitter experience that there is no point in making your own potato chips. It's the height of pretension, and it goes through a lot of kitchen roll. You're never going to be Grace Kelly. You're not.
No. She apparently made really good potato chips, but she had someone to clean up after her.
Exactly.
And we don't.
You don't, and the task is endless, and it's got to be done in huge amounts, and it's
just better to buy crisps.
But because also flavors, you can get whatever flavor you want potato chip, but try making that yourself.
Yeah, you can have whatever flavor potato chip you want, but if you're having sour cream potato chips, sit way far away from me.
Pizza, until the day that I actually own one of those stone ovens. I see no point in making pizza.
Because even putting a pizza stone in your regular oven, I've made pizza because it entertained Sprague, but I wouldn't do it on a regular basis.
That's not a taste-based.
No, it's about entertaining.
Even commercially produced pizzas that you heat up in your oven, I don't
care for those.
But I will order a pizza. Chinese food. I
won't make it, but when Neil does it, I'm pleased.
It's funny. I like a stir fry that somebody makes and stuff like that. But I'm not going to attempt to make sweet and sour king prawns or
no.
It's because my relationship with Chinese food is largely of a commercial basis anyway, because that's what I know.
Yeah. Well, we have a Chinese dinner once a year, and Neil will pick those dishes. Like you said, you're not going to make sweet and sour prawns, but you might make salt and pepper prawns.
Yeah.
So you pick the thing. Although I will say, last year we were in the middle of prep, and he was in the middle of getting ready to cook, and suddenly realized he didn't have 5 spice, which he needed for the duck and everything like that. And then so we went out, and it was Christmas Day, so there was a limited number of places that you were going to be able to, and the chances of them having 5 spice were pretty slim. So we went out, we didn't find it, and we were at home, and he's like, I'm going to have to do something else. And suddenly he went, wait a minute, 5 spice is just 5 spices. If I have those 5 spices, I don't need the 5 spice. So normally the planning is pretty thorough, because we only do it once a year. But I would rather buy Chinese takeaway than...
sort of the reverse of that is... I don't tend to buy a lot of spice mixes and things like that, other than, say, 5 spice. But one I've always used is lemon and pepper, or citrus pepper, which is sort of dried lemon rind and pepper and a bit of salt and stuff. And it's from the good people at Schwartz.
Right, but you wouldn't make your own lemon pepper.
Well, as it turns out,
you did make your own lemon pepper.
I do make my own lemon and pepper because Schwartz have stopped selling it in the United Kingdom, which is I have looked high, I have looked low. And nowhere is it to be found. It appears to have been discontinued as a line. But drawing your own lemon rind is a very easy thing. You just have to remember to use unwaxed lemons.
As a rule, I only have unwaxed lemons in the house, because I don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now...
Also burgers. Burgers I would rather buy than make.
I like Neil's burgers. Neil does really nice burgers. But by and large... there's something I'm going to order when we're out, provided someone doesn't tell me they can only do it well done. If I go to a restaurant or any sort of eatery and I order a burger and they tell me they can only do it well done, what they've told me in saying that is that they don't trust their meat supplier.
Yeah.
I want my burger medium rare.
Whereas I like mine absolutely rare.
Yeah. So
Now, in the summer at a barbecue, that's a completely different thing.
Yeah, no, that's part of the atmosphere of the barbecue and stuff like that.
On a weekend
I'm not going to make it on a Wednesday evening,
No.
after
And
work.
I'm not a fan of burgers or things that call themselves burgers that aren't made of beef.
It's not a chicken burger, it's a chicken sandwich.
It is. It's a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It's an unseasoned lamb kofta. It's not a burger.
It's pork that's been minced and underseasoned.
Yes.
It's not a burger.
And overcooked.
And overcooked.
And overcooked. And it's
All right.
a pleasant thing.
We could do a whole thing on burgers.
Not to be very snooty about it. It's
Go ahead, be snooty.
really not. No, just don't call it a burger. Call it
Something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there is. In the United States, they take sandwiches far more seriously than they do here in the United Kingdom. It's so much so that in the state of Massachusetts, a sandwich is legally defined.
Yes.
So it must be 2 pieces of bread. A wrap is a wrap.
And not a sandwich.
So a burrito, not a sandwich.
Not a sandwich.
Yeah, those little cute little wraps with beetroot tortillas and stuff like that.
Hardly a meal, much less a sandwich.
Yeah, certainly not a sandwich.
Okay, number 10. And this isn't a question. This is a situation.
Right.
You're moving to a new kitchen in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can only take one gadget with you. What do you grab, and why?
A knife sharpener.
No knife? Just the knife sharpener.
I'm assuming there's going to
to the new kitchen.
There's going to be, because otherwise I'd have to say, well, I bring a kitchen.
Yeah.
Because or an oven.
Yeah.
But I'd say a knife sharpener because you live or die by your knife in a kitchen, and that knife has got to be sharp. It's the old adage about a dull knife being much more dangerous than a sharp knife is absolutely true.
See, this is a sign of how differently I operate in the kitchen. I take very much to heart the thing about the knife, but when I read that the first time, I thought, well, my dough scraper. I do everything with my dough scraper. I can chop things with my dough scraper and move them and stuff like that. But a knife sharpener. Neil would take his favorite knife because I ran him through these questions as well.
Well, I mean, I haven't mine. I don't have one of those sexy little knife holder things. You know those.
You have a drawer.
I have a knife block.
Yeah.
So I would look like some kind of serial killer.
Arriving. I brought my knives.
I've come to mince you. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's worked out to be exactly the right number of questions.
Oh, really?
Because we are we have 5 minutes, so I'm going to say one more thing.
Did you have any conch fritters, by the way, while you were in Antigua?
Let me tell you about the conch fritters.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and I spent 2 days, because there's conch shells everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, conch shells galore. Where are the conch fritters? They're not on the menu. They're not, So Gregory thought, well, I'm going to go over to English Harbor, which is the nearest sort of town, because St. John's is the main city.
Right.
Well, it's the only city. And then couldn't find them anywhere, and they were never on the menu. The menu, mahi-mahi everywhere, wahoo everywhere, particularly the day after we all went fishing and Neil caught a 40-pound wahoo. We're like, we don't know if this is your wahoo, but we're going to consider it your wahoo. Nowhere were the conch fritters. And Gregory started to get really aggravated by it, my brother. And he finally asked someone, and he goes, and the guy said, well, it's end of season, and a lot of people here don't like them. They think they're a bit rubbery. And I thought, well, yeah, you can overcook it.
Yes.
But it's basically a seafood hush puppy. Conch fritter. I love conch fritters.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any. There was a lot of fish, though.
Well,
there was a lot of fish. The food, a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of fresh fish. That said, at some point, sort of late in the week, I was like, you know what? I'm all fished out. If I see another piece of mahi-mahi, I may scream. So I was like, I'm going to order some chicken or something. Yeah. But it was. I wish I could say I had more experience of this sort of Antiguan cuisine, which involves, as I read up on it before I went, sort of salt cod for breakfast and West Indian sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say I'd gotten out and about and tried the street food and all that stuff. And this is a quick travel segment within my food segment. I didn't try it because I never got off the resort. I have never been to a resort so nice in my entire existence. And I saw no reason to leave. The Curtain Bluff was like nothing I'd ever experienced. And there were so many things to do that I just never left. So I'll have to go back to Antigua,
Right.
For a fact-finding trip. And this time actually leave. I never left the resort.
When
Never
Harmony Hall's open. You've got to go back when Harmony Hall's open. I can't
Apparently
believe you went all the way.
No, but it's been closed for a year. He closed last year for renovation. I looked it up. I took you at your word. I looked it up. They'd been closed for renovation. There was no indication when they were going to reopen. And I didn't go to Shirley Heights, which is because every week the owner of Curtain Bluff has a cocktail party at her house on the grounds, which is at the very top of the bluff, which has an equally fantastic view, and someone's brought me a drink.
Right.
So, I never... She was hilarious. She was everywhere. She had a little monogrammed golf cart. She was greeting everyone at dinner.
I want a monogrammed golf cart.
Me too. But I just did a travel segment within my food segment. So I'm going to hand it back to Peter now. And thank you so much for letting me have your seat.
Right. Well, no, you're going to sit there for a couple of minutes.
Am I?
I just want you to do a technical thing for me.
Oh, God.
You see the blue, the red, and the black buttons?
Yeah, the sliders.
Slide those down when I tell you.
Okay. All at once?
No, yeah, but not just yet.
This is Puritans Radio.